Hello everyone, welcome to SNDev. And as you can see, we will be building this AI-powered chatbot to interact with our PDF files. Okay, and this will be a RAG-based chatbot. So if you don't know what RAG is, so you can visit my previous videos where I have explained what this RAG content, like how RAG works under the hood. Okay, so in this video we'll be building this application. All right, so let's see how it works first, then we'll be go into the coding. So in this slave bar you can see we can browse our files. So I'll be uploading, let's say, one of this research paper that contains lots of file, and it will upload. Then we'll be submitting to our vector db, and it will update all those vectors into my database that's been stored into locally, and we are using Chroma DB as our vector databases. Okay, so it would take some time. All right, so here you could see in our Chroma DB inspector, you could see that we have added 456 documents stored into Chroma DB. And well, when we'll be doing that for the first time, you won't be seeing this many documents, as I have tried multiple PDFs into this application, so my number of documents is a bit higher. Okay, so now we have, so here you can see, here we have one placeholder, and here we have our chat interface, right? So let's say I'll be asking something about this PDF. So this PDF is about a coverless steganography research paper. So let's say, what is coverless steganography? Now the thing is, how RAG works under the hood, that as we'll be giving this prompt, it will convert this prompt into a vector embedding. Then it will search as per this embedding to its local stored vector embedding, that which would be the three most relevant chunk. From there it would give me this answer, right? Now before I'll be entering this and to receive my response, I'll be asking the same into this placeholder to see that as per this prompt what would be my relevant three chunks. Okay, so I'll be entering this. So here you could see we have these three relevant chunk. It might seem similar, but there are much more. I'm not showing everything, so that's why it might see that these three are similar. Okay, so we have what is coverless steganography. Now let me enter this, and here you could see we have our response from the LLM. Okay, and it is kind of taking from this, you can see a survey by J. Quinn coverless. It's taking the document from these chunks. Okay, now let's say, let me try another one. How can I implement steganography, right? So, okay, wait a minute. Implement. Okay, now I'll go for this prompt, and here you could see I have gotten my response implementing coverless steganography. All this here, the basic outline, and it will also given me this proposed algorithm as per my research paper. So if you are doing some research as per your own work, it's a very useful project to have your own kind of personal assistant to help in your project. That's I personally use in my steganography research, which is my final year project. Okay, so today we'll be building this project. All right, so before beginning to the code, let me show you its wireframe. So here is the interface. We have this Streamlit interface, and we'll be having this index.py as our entry point to our application, and we'll be having 5 modules. Okay, I won't be coding like one simple .py file where I'll be adding all my functions like a whole normal file. This is not how production level code works, right? We have to divide each and every segment as a module. Okay, so we'll be having 5 modules as our chat interface, as our PDF handling module, as our vector store, our Chroma Inspector to see what are the chunks we are having, and our LLM invocation where we'll be invoking our GROQ API for our Llama 3 model. Okay, so these are our tech stack. We are using Streamlit, GROQ API, Llama 3, LangChain, and Chroma DB. Okay, so this is being said, let's start to the code. Alright, so now we'll be begin with our code. So here you could see in my readme.amd file, our first step would be to create a virtual environment, which is always the best practice when you are using this kind of Python application where you need to install multiple packages, right, or some libraries. So first we'll be creating one my-env virtual environment. You can use conda as well, but I'm using pip, so I'll be using python -mv or my-env. I'll be entering this and it will create a my-env virtual environment over here. Okay, so we have to wait until it's giving me the next command. Like after that we need to activate our environment. Okay, and we'll be using this script for that, my-env script activate. So we'll be copy this and we might have to wait for a bit. Alright, now we'll be pasting this command over here. And why I'm pasting my-env scripts activate, because if you go to this my-env, here you could see we have this scripts folder, and in here we have this activate file. Okay, so like we need to activate our environment, like simple as that. We'll be clicking enter. Now we need to install our dependencies. You can simply install our requirement.txt, that over here. It consists of our Streamlit, Langchain, GROQ, community, PyPDF, syntax transformers, .env, Chroma DB transformers, all those things. Okay, so I'll be doing this. So I'll be just copy this pipe install -r requirement.txt. I'll paste it over here and I'll click enter. And it will take a lot of time to kind of install all the packages. So I'll come back when it's installed properly. Okay. Alright, so we are done with our installation. So now we need to have our LLM API, right? So here we'll be using GROQ API. So you can search this. Wait a minute. So you can search this GROQ Cloud and come to this website. Simply do your login thing. Okay, then select in this playground. Then here you can try out multiple models and you can have your conversation here, and we'll be coming here in this API keys, and you can create your own API over here. Okay, so I'll be create my own over here. So I'll be now name it as ragbot. Wait, it's verifying it. Alright, so I'll submit. I'll copy this. Alright, then I'll come to my IDE. I'll create an .env, like of course. Then here I'll name it as GROQ API Key. Then paste the API key. Alright, so we have our API key right now. Now we'll be creating our index. Be creating our index.py. Okay, and with that we'll be creating our modules. So modules. Okay, so first now let's write code into our index.py. Okay, over here. Alright, so this will be the entry point of our application, right? So let's do it. So first we need to import Streamlit. tst. Okay, and we'll be simply config our file. So st.set page config. I'll be name it as, let's say, page title. Okay, and then st.title ask ragbot. We'll save it and we'll run this file. So Streamlit run index.py. Okay, we'll press enter, and here is our application. You could see our, as per this set page config, we have our browser web RAGbot, and we have our interface ask RAGbot. Okay, all right, now we need to write all those functions. So let me give some comment over here. So it will be, let's say, application title. All right, after that, what we'll be having, we'll be having our step 1. It will be upload PDF and submit. Okay, acha, so before that we need to add our warning and logging features of Streamlit, and this will help us to ignore some of the bugs that might not affect our application, but it will kind of stop our application. So we need to use warnings and logins to make sure those bugs doesn't stop our application. So we'll simply import warnings and we'll import logging. All right, and after doing that, I'll be calling this function. So warnings dot filter warnings. Here I'll call it, I'll be asking it to ignore. Okay, then again logging dot get logger. Here I'll name it here transformer, and dot set level logging dot error. Okay, these are just some basic things you need to do before you write in your Streamlit code. Okay, we'll be saving this. All right, now our first step is to upload a PDF and submit this thing, right? So okay, now before, let me write all those steps first, then we'll be doing one by one for all those modules. Our step 2 would be user submit to vector store. Mean after user will choose their PDF, they should be having the option to submit them to our vector store. All right, then we'll be having step 3 as display vector store inspector, mean our Chroma DB. Okay, then our step 4 would be display old messages, and our step 5 would be handle new user prompt. Then step 6, this is a simple feature, download chat history, right? So first we'll be completing our step 1, which is uploading a PDF and submit this. So in the module we'll create a folder, we'll be creating a file. The name would be PDF handler. So PDF handler dot py. All right, we'll come in here, and here of course we need to import our Streamlit as st. All right, will be import temp file to store our PDFs. All right, now we need to create those functions. So first function would be to upload files. So upload files function. All right, here first of all I need to show a kind of like I need to place this application where user would get to select into a sidebar. So with ht dot sidebar, like under sidebar I'll be creating these components, right? So it will be, let's name it ht header, let's say upload pdfs. Okay, after that in a variable uploaded files ht dot file uploader, of course, then choose files. Okay, I need to provide the type of file will be having, so it will be pdf, and then in our accept multiple files, of course we have to accept multiple files, and I need to make it true. Okay, it's done. Now I need to get a submit button, so in our submit ht dot button I will name it as submit to database or db, whatever. Okay, then I need to return this. So what will be returned? I'll be return my uploaded files and also submit. Okay, this is done with my upload files function. Now I need to save those files as well. Okay, you can do it or not, but I'm just temporarily gonna, and that's why we'll be using this temp file import, because we'll be saving each and every pdf in our local folder. Okay, so the function name I'll be giving as save, let's say uploaded. Okay, here I'll be passing my uploaded files. Let's cut it out. Okay, done. So dev chef uploaded, it won't be uploaded files, it will be upload files. Upload files. All right, now my file paths gonna be an empty array. Okay, and then I'm gonna run a loop for each and every file. So for file in upload files, here with temp file, what I'm gonna do, temp file dot name temporary file, I'm gonna write delete false, I won't be deleting them, and suffix to mention that these are the kind of like what kind of files I'm having, I'll be write pdf. Okay, then as temp, then tmp dot write, let's say file dot load, not load, it will be file dot read. Okay, and it's not temp, it have to be a tmp read. Then in my file paths I'll simply append each and every file, so tmp dot name. All right, now I simply need to return my file paths. Okay, now I'll come into my index.py, and here I'll simply call this function. So okay, before that I need to import this. So after this I'll be importing from modules dot pdf handler, I need to import what? Upload files. Okay, then coming over here, we need to write let's say uploaded files comma submitted. Then I'll be simply call the function files. As our function is returning two variables, we'll be having these two variables over here. Okay, so this is done. We are done with our first part. Alright, so now we need to create our vector store.py file, and this will consist of the function that will store those PDF files into our vector databases as our Chroma DB, and we'll also store them into our local storage as Chroma store that we have over here. So I'll be deleting that first of all. Alright, so we'll be creating this from fresh. So first of all, let me paste this what is it called, this imports. Okay, so we'll be needing langchain.vector stores to import our Chroma DB, then py-pdf loader from our document loaders, then Hugging Face embeddings from embeddings, recursive character text splitter from langchain.text splitter, and save uploaded from our PDF handler module. All right, okay, now our function def load vector store, right? Here we'll pass our uploaded files. Now for my paths, I'll be calling my save uploaded, and I'll pass to get the paths of each and every files. All right, okay, it will be uploaded, not upload. All right, now for docs, I need to initialize an empty array, then I'll loop through it. So path in paths. Okay, then in loader, I'll be calling my py-pdf loader, and I'll pass this each and every path to it, and I'll simply extend my doc array. So extend to loader.load. Right, okay, now I need to split. So splitter, I'll be calling my recursive character text splitter. Here I'll be naming the chunk size as, let's say for the basic chunk size, I'll be keeping at 1000. Then chunk overlap, I'll be keeping at 200. Okay, now for text, I'll use this splitter dot this split document function. Documents, I'll pass my each and every docs. Okay, got it. Now at last, I'll call my embeddings. Embeddings should be, I need to call from Hugging Face embeddings. Here I need to provide the model name that I'll be using. Okay, so be careful with the model's names name. Okay, so it will be all hyphen mini LM, actually mini LM, and it will be L12 and small v2. Okay, then now the thing is, as I said earlier to you guys, I'll be storing each and every vector embedded into a local store. So I need to create one persist directory that will exist in my local directory. So persist dir, I will name it as, let's say Chroma store. Okay, so after having my embeddings, I'll be storing them. So if os dot path exists in persist directory and os dot list directory would be my persist directory. Okay, so in my vector store I'll be using my Chroma persist directory. Persist direct will be directory would be this persist dir, and embedding should be, of course, embedding function would be my this embedding. Okay, after that vector store dot I need to add those documents. So documents, here I'll be passing this texts. All right, then vector store dot I'll be using this persist function. Okay, so this persist function is in the use. Then for the else, if I don't have any document previously and I have to create a new one, so in that case vector store Chroma dot from documents, here documents should be texts, embedding would be embedding, and the persist directory, right? This persist directory would be this persist dir. Okay, then after that I'll be persist, so vector dot persist function, and I'll simply return my vector store from here. Okay, I'll be saving this and I'll come to my index.py and I'll my step 2 and I'll add this into my step 2. Okay, so my step 2 says we have to user submit to vector store, right? So as we have stored this submitted values over here, so if submitted and uploaded files, then with st.spinner giving a simple message updating vector databases, and then vector store would be call my function. Okay, so before calling the function I need to import them. So from modules dot vector store load vector store. So come over here, vector store, I'll pass uploaded files, and then to get a session st.session state dot vector store would be my vector store. So for each and every session I'll store them into my local Chroma store. Okay, all right, so this part is also been done. So now let's see if our Chroma store is getting created or not. So for that I'll run this index.py again, Streamlit on index.py, and here we go, we have our application. Let me have a simple one, just let this guidelines, let me submit to the DB. All right, so you could see we have this Chroma store over here and we have that embedded chunks of this document over here. Okay, So that's being said, our second step is done. So now as our vector store thing is done, now we need to make sure that after loading our vector databases, we should inspect each and every chunk as per our wish, as per our query. So for that we need to complete our step 3, and step 3 is to create our Chroma Inspector, like Chroma Inspector. Okay, so here I'll create this new module, Chroma Inspector.py. all right, so let's work on this. So in Chroma Inspector I need to import my Streamlit first, Streamlit as st, then from it will be lang chain dot vector stores. We need to import Chroma. Okay, let me save this. We have our vector store, we have our Chroma Inspector. Here we'll be having our function for inspect Chroma. So def inspect Chroma, where we'll upload our vector store. Okay, then we will be showing that into our sidebar. So st dot, of course, sidebar dot, for the markdown purpose, ChromaDB inspector. All right, now let's give it a try and catch. So for the try, doc count for each and every doc, vector store dot underscore collection dot count. So vector store dot underscore collection dot count, we are counting each and every docs over here. Then st dot sidebar dot success, it to create our docs count. So doc count and our documents stored in DB. It's like after uploading your PDFs, in how many chunks we are dividing that PDF, then how many document we are creating, that we are kind of converting into an vector embeddings, and then we are storing that into our databases, right? So we are collecting that over here. Okay, it is been wrong, it's not under count function, like this. All right, so with respect to that, we have an except our exception as e, it would be st dot sidebar dot error could not fetch document. Right, st dot sidebar dot code, just to handle the error. Okay, all right, after that we'll be providing the query. As per that, we need to get our relevant chunks. So query would be st dot sidebar dot, I need to provide one text input. Let's say test a query against ChromaDB. Okay, now if we have a query in try block. We'll try to find some results. So results would be from our vector store dot. We'll find one similarity search. Similarity search, where we'll pass our query and our element chunk number would be number of 3. Similarity search. All right, now st dot sidebar dot markdown top matching content that I'll be having over there. To get that, I need to look through my each and every doc. I doc in enumerate through my each and every results. Okay, then in st dot sidebar dot markdown, let's say result I plus 1. It will be of star marks. Also for this Chroma DB. Not for this one. To make it a bit of bold. Right, we have it over here. Then we'll be having this st dot sidebar dot markdown here doc dot page content up to 300 plus. I can't show everything, so I'll be just giving one dash thing. Okay, and after that st dot again into sidebar markdown for a space this. Okay, this thing is done. Now I need to handle my exception. Exception as e would be, I'll be copying this, paste it over here. Error comma db. All right, so we'll be saving this, and we need to write that in our main file, entry file. So from modules dot our Chroma Inspector, we need to import our inspect Chroma, and under this third comment writing key if we have our vector store in session state, like if we have a vector store in a particular session that's already been uploaded, then we'll call our inspect Chroma and we'll call our st.session state dot vector store. So we are particularly passing that particular vector store as per that prompt, right? All right, so now in our next part we'll be completing this step 4, where we'll be building our chat UI, or our how we can get our messages, or how we can get our multiple messages, all those things. Okay, so for that I'll create another .py file named as chat.py. okay, and here we will write the function for display chat history, how we can handle user input and how we can download our chat history. Okay, so first I will import Streamlit as ht. Okay, now our first function would be display chat history. All right, first let's say if we have a message, if the message is not in the session state, then I need to invoke that message into our session state. So ht.session_state.messages would be 0, like an empty array, right? Then for msg in ht dot again session state dot messages, here ht dot chat message, here I'll pass my message row, so message row dot markdown, which would be msg content, right? So this would be to display the chat. Okay, here role would be my user or our system, like our assistant, and our content would be either our user input or our response by the LLM. So to get that, we would be having our def handle user input. Here we will simply pass our chain parameter. All right, here is our user input ht dot chat input. We need to get user input, right? So let's say pass your prompt here, so prompt here. Okay, then if not user input, will simply return this. All right, okay, now c dot chat message will pass our user, and in the markdown will pass user input. Okay, then ht dot need to add this in our session state, messages dot append. Here we will be passing our role, right? So our role would be in this case user, and our content would be of course user input. All right, okay, now to get our response from the LLM, right? So try result. Here we will be passing our chain. Okay, and what this chain is, we will be building this chain in our LLM.py file, where we will be handling our GROQ API. Okay, so we'll be coming into that a bit later. So user not user, here we need to pass our query, right? So query, and this query would be the given user input. Okay, now we'll be having our response after that, and this response would be result. Okay, then ht dot, okay, then we need to copy these two lines. So we'll be copying this two line. All right, here this user would be assistant, and this user will be assistant, and this user input would be response. Okay, we need to handle our exception. So except exception as z, sorry, here simply ht dot error. Here we will f string a simple str within this e. Okay, we are done with this. We are done with our handling user input. Now we need to get another function, and this will consist of how to download chat history. All right, what we'll be doing, we'll be seeing our session messages. So if ht dot session state dot, will be getting our messages. So messages, then we need to declare our content. This would be /n/n. Need to join with our f string here, him, let's say role dot upper, like whatever the role will be, we'll be doing it into uppercase. And then this will be under a curly brace, otherwise it won't work. So after this we'll be blocking our curly brace, and we'll be having our colon sign, and again here we need to declare our content. So m, our content over here. Okay, and then for m in ht dot this one is finishing here, so I think there is some mistake I've done. So if string m role dot upper colon content, this for m in session state dot messages. Yes, sorry, this should finish over here. Okay, all right, we have a content now. ht dot download button, download chat history. All right, then we'll pass our content, of course. File name would be chat history.txt. I'm exporting as a .txt file. Okay, chat history.txt, it will be under quotation, so then name of text plain. Okay, so my download chat history is also done. Now we need to add them into our index file. So let's add them. So it's simple, we need to just simply let first import them, right? So from modules.chat, we'll import what? We'll import our display our display, our download, and our handle user input. Okay, just simply call the display chat history, and at last just simply import download chat history. Okay, now here we need to create the LLM chain so that we can handle the user input. Okay, now first let's see how it's looking, our interface. Let's say we first need to submit it, then we'll be having this prompt section. So let me create another file. It will be as llm.py. Okay, it will be a small one, not to worry. We need to import our OS, then from langchain .groq will be importing chat-groq, and from langchain.chains will import Retrieval-QA. Okay, now I need to define our function. So def get LLM chain. Okay, here we'll pass our vector store, of course. Then to define our LLM, so LLM call our chat-groq function, GROQ API key, here would be os.environ.get GROQ API key, right? Now what I need more, I've been needing my model name, so model underscore name would be, this is important, llama 3-8 billion parameters, so 8192. Okay, LLM is done. I need to create my retriever. So retriever vector store dot retriever search. Here I need to get our top 3 more relevant search. Okay, so K would be our 3. Okay, then I'll be return my Retrieval-QA dot from this chain type. Here I'll pass my LLM, I'll pass the chain type would be stuff in our case, and for our retriever we'll be having our retriever and return source documents would be true. Okay, we'll be saving this and we'll come into our index.py, and over here will call us if we have our vector store like this, So if we have a vector store in our sys session state, then let's call this handle user input. In this function, let me first import that. So again, from modules.llm get LLM chain, I'll call my get LLM chain function, and I'll pass ht.session, of course, state dot vector store. All right. Okay, I'll simply save this, and my application is now ready. So now what we'll be doing, will be simply run this app. So Streamlit run index.py. All right, and we'll have it over here. Okay, we'll simply browse it. Let's say we'll browse this guideline. We'll submit to a DB. Let's wait for until it is uploading to a vector database. All right. Okay, so here is showing some error key. The API key client must be some either. Okay, so the API key is not coming to the application. So okay, I forgot to import this. Right, so I'll simply add this one. From .env, I'll import load.env. So I'll run this load.env file, and this will help me to fetch that API key from my .env to my application. All right, I'll save it now. I'll refresh it again, and now I'll run this, and this is a small PDF. Okay, I'll submit to my DB, and here you could see we have 7 documents stored in the Chroma DB, because this PDF is not a too large one. Okay, so this guideline consists of some of my internship guidelines that I'll be doing in my coming months. So let's say, what are the guidelines? Okay, so it would give me some guidelines that I have in that particular PDF. Here you could see some abstract table content, that how I have to make the report of that internship. Okay, and also you can figure out some of the relevant chunk that we would get. See, we would get only one relevant chunk because it is kind of similar chunk, as it has only pretty small content. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope it would help you to learn how to build a good RAG chatbot with a professional way to use modular coding concept. All right, and I'll be giving all this code in my GitHub link in the description. You can have all that over here. And yeah, thanks for watching, and comment whatever you feel about this video and how I might improve in future. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching.